Hi guys, Saad here. Today we're going to talk about an idea from this book, Reality Transurfing, which has made a huge dent as to how I think about manifesting. And that idea is our hopes and dreams don't manifest, but pure intentions do. Yes, you heard it right. Our hopes and dreams, they don't matter. For the sake of this discussion, I think it's relevant that we talk a little bit about hopes and dreams. All mental phenomena are a very subjective experience. As such, we could end up with different meanings of those words. But what Vadim Zeeland is talking about when it comes to hopes and dreams in this book is essentially this idea of longing. Do you ever find yourself talking to yourself like, I sure hope this person texts me back, or wouldn't it be nice if we could have a vacation there? Oh, it might happen someday. Or I really hope that she likes me, that she texts me back. It is this kind of narrative or this sense of daydreaming that we are referring to as hopes and dreams here. So what's wrong with them? So hopes and dreams are these kind of mental narrative where the thing you want is somewhere out there, and instead of focusing your energy on moving towards the thing, you kind of have this sense of longing or this sense of wanting it, but you are not really going after it. And that's not gonna work. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because in 3D, as we inhabit this material body, we have a limited amount of energy, we have a limited amount of time, and then there is the matter of focus or attention. So if our desire or longing is just kind of this hoping type of energy that's not very concentrated, we're not going to move forward towards it. So that's the first part of the quote, which is hopes and dreams don't manifest. Let's get to the second part, which is pure intentions do. What does he mean by pure intention here? I think he uses a brilliant example in the book, which is pay attention to the experience of just scratching the back of your neck. So like this. Right now I am talking, but if you go quiet, and let's do that, what I'll probably experience is this moment of quietness. There is no internal chatter, and there is pure movement of the hand, and then the act of scratching. This is what pure intention is. It has this element of not being accompanied by any mental event, like say an imagery or a dialogue. It is just an act that's very pure, and it just happens. It's interesting how the same concept pops out in Zen. In Zen, there is this idea of no mind, which I'm sure you have come across if you have watched the movie The Last Samurai. When Captain Nathan Algren, he's training with the samurai warriors and he's fighting one of them, they're telling him again and again, too many mind, too many mind. So basically what they're trying to say there is thinking gets in the way. And you experience it if you have tried something like partner dancing, where you need to pay attention to your surroundings, to your partner, where they are at, or you have tried any form of martial arts, where you constantly need to, how do I say it, orient yourself depending on what's coming your way, which requires you to be very present. And that presence requires a cessation of thinking and a mental quietness. And it is that very quietness that we experience when we have pure intention, and instead of thinking about what we want, we start moving towards it. I'll give you another example, which is very relevant and timely. This is my first video on this channel that I'm recording outside, and recording outside is a little different. Yeah, people see you, it makes you more self-conscious, and then you also have to figure out the lighting. You don't know how the audio is gonna come out and all that jazz. So I was getting a little bit into my head this morning about that. And then I realized that that was leading to a lot of energy being spilled, and it was actually keeping me from the thing that I want to do, which is to go out and record the video and put it out there for you guys. So I just decided to embody pure intention. Another way, perhaps a very American way of saying it, would be just do it. And what Vadim Zealand is saying is it is that pure intention that manifests. There's another thing that's worth mentioning about the idea of intention being pure. So he talks about purifying the intention of any desire. Now, what does that mean? So, as we're about to do something, the way it works, especially, like in the conventional middle class 9-to-5 worker mind, which is what I have been pretty much all my life, is we constantly wonder whether this thing is gonna work or not. And so we have this attachment to outcome that actually takes away from the focus that is required to do the task at hand. So what Vadim is talking about is to let go of that and to just purely act. And this is something I have noticed with the successful people in my life. My mentor is a great example of this. He has 4 successful businesses and makes more than $20,000 a month. And all of that is relatively effortless for him. Like, the dude is insane. He has got 5 podcasts where he is putting content out every week, and now he's got 2 YouTube channels, insane amount of volume. On top of that, he's doing one-on-one client work, running programs, writing books. It's this insane volume that that seems so outlandish to me. And he talks about how ideas would just come to him in meditation, and he'd just start acting on them. See, there's this conception of this idea in meditation, or you come up with an inspiration, or you are looking to move in a certain direction. So you're struck by this impulse to move in a certain direction. And then what happens for most of us? I don't think most of us are like my mentor. I know I am not. What happens is we get into our head, we start wondering whether this thing is gonna work for me. Well, then the voice comes in, well, it works for him because he's German and he's white, which is why he has got certain leverages that I as a person of color don't. Or maybe, no, he started in a different time, so there is just too much competition now. As such, it can only work for him and not for me. And another example would be, let's say you notice someone attractive that you want to have a conversation with. You are clearly pulled towards this person because you are delighted by their beauty, and you're attracted to them and you want to move towards them, but then we can't. Question is why? And if you sit with yourself and if you examine what's going on in the background, is often this notion of people laughing at us, we being scared of rejections being this very real thing that somehow would lead to the diminishment of ourselves. And it's the same thing when it comes to, applying for a job or going after something we want. I think this mental thing that happens, we can encapsulate all of that as this thing that has been referred to as the inner critic, the ego, or this protective mechanism that consolidates as this thought structure designed to keep you in the comfort zone and gets in the way of you expanding yourself and you going out there and freely expressing yourself. My mentor, he doesn't have that. Ideas come, he acts on it. There is this pure intention and pure action. And as he does his part, guess what? Eventually, the universe meets him halfway. He gets the clients, he makes the money that he sets out to make, and the manifestation eventually takes place. And I have seen this in my own life as well. I was looking to meet people that embodied certain qualities. And these are people that are more reflective, more contemplative, and also has an open heart and is looking to connect with the world and people. So what has happened for me a lot in recent times is I just sit at a cafe and I would just be able to sense that this person is open to connecting, and I would act upon the hunch immediately without letting the second thought kick in. And I have made friendships effortlessly that way. And it's interesting how all of this is very consistent with Neville Goddard's model of manifesting your desires. So what do we do there? We stay in the feeling of wish fulfilled. But why? Because it tunes our senses in a way that we notice opportunities and potentials, and then we start acting differently. We move differently. Our eyes move in different directions. We notice things that other people don't because we are so attuned with our desire. And since we're staying in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that energy of longing and hoping and dreaming is just not there anymore. We are already complete. We are already in possession of our desire. But at the same time, that has a way of focusing our energy and our attention and our focus. Now the problem is most of us, we're so identified with the conditioning that we have been raised with that the moment that tuning happens, we notice the opportunity, we can't act upon it. And this is the problem that needs to be solved. And as Vadim Zeland says in Reality Transurfing, you gotta make yourself move without wanting to move the world. The world's not gonna move right away. It doesn't work like that. If you guys know about the mirror principle, one of the key ideas with the mirror principle is that it takes time for the mirror of reality to reflect what's within. In the model of transurfing, that's discussed a little differently. There's the alternative space where all possibilities are represented in this coordinate grid-like system, and the more we attune ourselves to those thoughts and emotions that correspond to the lifeline, which is another reality transurfing term, representing a reality that matches our desired reality, we start moving towards that life lane little by little. Now, depending on how far your manifestation is, that movement, for one, is slow, but it happens nonetheless. It's too little for the mind to notice, but the movement for sure is happening as we're acting upon our intention, as we are attuning our thoughts and energy with our desired outcome by living in the state of the wish fulfilled. So going back to the quote, Vadim Zeland is saying that you need to make yourself move without moving the world. He is referring to the same thing that Neville Goddard talks about when he's asking you to let go of the 3D, of attaching to the 3D and getting into this place of scarcity and desperation and longing and slapping your head against the water saying things like, why the manifestation isn't here yet? Why is it not here yet? No, that's not what we want to do. We want to purify ourselves of the longing and the desire, and the way we do that is by staying in the wish fulfilled, and then we act out of pure intention. This was a big piece of the puzzle for me, because as you get into the law of assumption literature and the conversations around Neville Goddard, you get this idea that Neville is asking you to not to act. And this is one of the biggest manifestation myths out there, that you don't really have to act, which is largely misunderstood in my opinion. So realistically, this is how it's gonna look like. You're gonna tune yourself to the state of the wish fulfilled. You will have hunches and inspirations and you will know what to do, but as you get to do it, your old programming and conditioning is gonna kick in. And then for a while, before it becomes natural and we can embody that state effortlessly, we'll have to keep training ourselves so that we can act with pure intention. And there are many ways of going about doing that. There is practices in the moment where you just drop the mental chatter and focus on moving towards the goal, putting one foot in front of the other. There are inner work like subconscious mind reprogramming, which I have made a video on that I'm gonna link here. And if you need help with any of those, or if you want to chat further, I offer a 30-minute complimentary session where we are going to go over your problem and come up with a solution that's tailored to you. So if that's something that you'd like to check out, I have provided a link in the description. One caveat about intention and acting from a place of purified intention instead of desire and longing. It is not easy. It is not gonna be easy. Your mind is gonna be so active and the old programming are gonna keep coming up, and you are gonna fail many times to do whatever it is that you want to do. Be it recording outdoors like me, or talking to that person that you find attractive, or bombing a job interview, or maybe a stage performance. It's gonna happen many times, and through that process, my friend, you need to offer yourself compassion. You need to understand that you have been hooked by pendulums, as such have got strong internal chatter which has been developed over decades, and it is gonna take time. But if you keep at it, the mirror of reality is 100% for sure gonna reflect what you want it to. I'll see you in the next video.